This video is on naming amines. The suffix for amines is amine, so they are very easy to identify. There are 4 different types of amine. There are primary amines, secondary amines, tertiary amines, and quaternary ammonium salts. Damn, that 4th one had to be complicated, huh? Secondary and tertiary amines, as well as quaternary ammonium salts, can be cyclic amines if the nitrogen is inside a ring. But enough about the types. How do we name them? The largest group attached to the nitrogen is used as the root. So for example, in a primary amine, it's just whatever carbon chain is attached to the nitrogen, whilst in the secondary amine, whichever one is longer will count as the root. So for example, here we have ethylamine, this primary amine, and this is apparently a propylamine with an ethyl group on the nitrogen. Well, I mean, what do we do with this ethyl group? Well, whenever you have more than one thing attached to the nitrogen, the thing that is not the base of the molecule will have to be named as a substituent. Just like with any other substituent, we would just call it, in this case, an ethyl. However, what position is it on? You will notice that it is on nitrogen as opposed to any carbon of the longest chain. So we have to label its position as being on N. So it'd be N-ethyl propylamine. Let's try to name this tertiary amine. Alright, you may pause now. And yes, it's N,N-diethylbutylamine. Let's practice. Name the following structures. You may pause now. And here are the answers. For more complex molecules, you name the amines just like you would name an alcohol, where you look for the longest chain attached to said amine as being the backbone. If the amine happens to be a substituent, it becomes an amino group. When does it become a substituent? Well, when there is other functional groups that take priority over it. The basic list for now is that carboxylic acids, esters, and alcohols take priority over amines. So let's practice. Let's name this molecule. You may pause now. And here's the answer. Let's try another one. Name this structure. You may pause now. And here's the answer. I'd like to point out at this point we could cluster the ethyl and the amine together, so it could be a 3N-ethyl amino. That would also be correct. Finally and briefly, we'll look at some trivial names of specific amines. So we have aniline when you have a arene attached to the amine. We have pyridine where nitrogen is in the arene ring, and pyrrole where it's a 5-membered equivalent of an arene with a nitrogen involved in the ring. And finally, indole, which is kind of like an extended pyrrole with an arene attached to it. We need to know these common names because they pop up unexpectedly all over the place, and we need to know what the structures are when the word comes up.